When it comes to high performance off road shocks, some of the most durable options often have the shortest service lives. But the things that are known for lasting the longest under more mundane use cases generally are the most fragile off road. Why is that? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. My name's Sean Bowman. We're in the Shock Surplus shop, so let's talk shocks. For those of you who are new here to the Shock Surplus party, we like to test every suspension package we carry on our own vehicles so that we can provide real world feedback so you guys can see if they're going to be right for you. And in the interest of making sure even the rowdiest of drivers are covered, well, we do our best to find those limits, and not to brag, but we've gotten pretty good at it. Me and the rest of the team have burned, blown, and worn out our fair share of shocks at this point, so a lot of what we're talking about here comes from personal experience. So let's get into it, and the real answer to our question here comes from the seal package and, of course, the intended use of the shocks. More race-oriented dampers with larger diameter bodies from brands like Fox, King, Icon, Radflo, ADS, you name it, are generally built with seal packages and wear items that are harder or higher durometer and often built to tighter tolerances. This allows them to take much more load, overall abuse, and survive much higher temperatures, but come with a much greater maintenance penalty. So, although they can be run much harder and hotter, those harder seals and materials on wear items, as well as those tighter required tolerances, means everything wears at a greater rate compared to lesser shocks under those easygoing driving characteristics. But this is why these shocks are not just serviceable and rebuildable, but should be serviced and rebuilt fairly frequently. In most cases, we find street queens, mall crawlers, daily drivers need to come in around that 40 to 50,000 mile mark. But if you're taking it easy on the occasional trail, you might need to call us around 30 to 40K. Now, 20 to 35,000 miles is usually a safe bet for weekend warriors who are hitting the trails more often or occasionally have a heavy foot when they're hitting dirt. Maybe 10 to 20,000 miles for you wannabe pre-runners who still got to spend a lot of time on the street, and 1 to 10,000 miles are after every race if you have no mechanical sympathy, a title to clinch, or you got a rig that never sees the street. Obviously, this is a service we offer, and prices usually range from $150 to $275 a shock, which obviously is no small feat, but a lot cheaper than a new set of shocks at this price point, so it's nice to do. Additionally, if you buy a 2.5-inch body or larger shock set that is rebuildable from us, we're offering $200 service credits towards your first service with us. So when it's time to get those bad boys rebuilt, we save you a little bit of extra dough. Last but not least, if you're local to us in the Southern California area, we also offer same-day services where you can drive your rig in, we'll pull all the shocks off, rebuild them, refresh everything, bolt them back up so you can drive home at the end of the day. Suffice it to say, what I'm trying to say here is we try to take as much of the sting as possible out of maintaining a higher performing and higher maintenance set of shocks. So if something like those are right for you, we try to make it as easy as possible. But if you're interested in booking a rebuild, same-day service, learning about what upgrades we can do while we're in the middle of your rebuild, make sure to hop on our website, shocksurplus.com, slide over to that service page, and we can get you dialed in. Manufacturers know full well that having to regularly rebuild your shocks or adding on any extra maintenance to what you already got to do on your vehicle is a real hassle, especially for the people looking to upgrade their daily drivers and who aren't spending every weekend sending their truck through the air or getting their Jeep stuck. This is why many entry-level shock options like the Bilstein 5100s, Eibach Pro Truck Sports, and other 2-inch body and smaller shock options from brands not named Fox, King, or Icon are designed to be much lower maintenance and longer lasting. That is, as long as you keep it easy on them. Their softer seals, looser required tolerances, and overall designs allow them to wear at a much lower rate than those super high performing shocks. In fact, it's totally normal for the average driver to get 60 to 80,000 miles, and getting over 100,000 miles is pretty easy to do if you take it really easy. The operating terms there, though, are if you use them as intended and you take it really easy. Although much longer lasting under more normal use cases, as long as you're spending most of your time on the road and the few times you are off road, you take it easy. If you're hitting hard trails, you got a heavy foot in the dirt, or you're spending long or frequent miles off road, chances are those long lasting shocks ain't gonna last that long. They may be a fraction of the price up front and theoretically could have a longer service life than those 2.5 inch or larger body race oriented shock packages. If you're serious about your off road driving, chances are those shocks are not only going to be far from meeting your needs in terms of performance, they're probably going to be prone to failing in fairly spectacular fashion. In fact, I know there's a lot of you guys out there, me included, that would actually get a longer service life out of those more race-oriented dampers, and ultimately, when they do eventually wear out, you can at least rebuild them for a fraction of the cost of what it would be to buy new ones. And again, although those more basic shocks might be a lot cheaper up front, if you're blowing your shocks up every trail run, which we know firsthand is pretty easy to do, you're going to be spending a heck of a lot more money keeping your rig on the trail. If you just got those higher performing shocks first, chances are they would last a year, maybe two, and when it was time to rebuild them, you wouldn't be spending all that much more money than those lesser shocks would have been to replace. But this isn't one of those trust me bro type situations. We wouldn't be shock surplus if we didn't have receipts. I got you, sucker. You thought you would make it this far in the video and I wouldn't bug you to like and subscribe and do all that. Brother, obviously you're liking what you're seeing if you made it this far, so go ahead, do us all a favor, hit that bell icon, hit that subscribe button so you're all notified of whatever we get into next. And well, brother, if there's something you want to see, make sure you hit that comment section below. Now, let's get back to the live action. Now, when I said we had receipts, I meant I was the one who stocked the cart, and probably the first thing we tested on my old Bronco were the Bilstein 5100s. They were inexpensive, actually a little bit more comfortable on the road and stock, and did half decent on your graded fire road or forest road, and under really light trails. They're really a good entry-level option for a lot of people. Under my stewardship, they saw, I think, only 2 days in the dirt, one of which was pretty hectic out in Johnson Valley. There were a lot of instances where I hit some things a little hard and they hit their bump stops and then some, which was pretty easy to do because they didn't have enough support for my needs. Now, on the way home, after getting absolutely ragged on, they drove half decent, but within 500 miles, I could feel them falling off the cliff into a dead shock zone and really just not working well anymore. That meant with just over 2,000 miles, that set of shocks was absolutely cooked. Additionally, since I just drove them way too hard, even though they only lasted a month and only hit the trail twice, that wouldn't be something Bilstein should or would cover under warranty, so that's about $550 straight in the hole. Later on in our testing, we ended up installing some Fox 2.5 Performance Elite coilovers on that same Bronco, and brother, were they a godsend and a game changer. Where the 5100s and the iBot 2.0 coilovers we tested subsequently would bottom out at the slightest provocation, go into straight hysteresis and fade if you were on the skinny pedal for more than 3 seconds off-road, and generally weren't supportive enough for me, and neither of them really survived. These Fox 2.5s were 10 times more supportive, so much more confidence inspiring, so much harder to bottom out, and well, I drove like they were. There were way more test days with those Fox 2.5s than there were anything else, and I ran those for the longest of everything we tested on there. I think we clocked over 15,000 miles. Almost every time they touched dirt, the tires left the ground, I hit the bump stops, and I would try to find their limit as expeditiously as possible. And even after that year of use, we took them apart. There's a slight little bit of damage to the seal head from topping out so frequently, but otherwise they were pretty good to go. And I personally had not noticed a single drop of loss in performance. In fact, I'd be fairly confident they would have survived another year and maybe another 15,000 miles as well. I basically got 7 times the life and a lot more abuse than I would have at the 5100s. And if we do the math, within 2 years, I would have been at $5,800, including the cost of the parts and that first service. For reference, we sell the Bilstein 5100s for I think $555 for the full set of four. And if I were to keep driving the way I did, where I had to just keep replacing them every month, I would be at $6,660 within the first year and $13,320 by the second. Clearly, I'm a fairly extreme case to say the least, and you'd have to be cuckoo for cocoa snuffs to be on your 12th or 24th set of entry level shocks or coilovers. But too often we find real enthusiasts springing for those lesser price, lower maintenance, and longer lasting shocks, only to find after a year of serious off road abuse that they got a couple paperweights. So it's really, as with everything, about the right shock for the right person. If you're keeping on the street most of the time and certainly not pushing it hard at all, in the few instances you are off road, it's probably a good idea to keep it simple. Go with a more basic shock package from one of the lower Bilstein lines or iBlock lines as well. They're going to last a lot longer. You're not going to have to deal with the maintenance all the time, and you save money, and they'll probably do what they need to do for you because, well, your needs aren't that extreme. Although you won't have the benefit of being able to rebuild them in most cases, they're so inexpensive to replace, it's better to buy them new anyway. And, well, they last so long. Do you really think you're going to have your truck by the time they're cooked? I don't think so. That said, if you're more of a real enthusiast and you might like to have a little bit of fun out in the dirt from time to time, you might be better off swinging towards those more higher performing options because they'll not only be closer to giving you the performance you're hoping for, they're much more likely to survive the abuse. And when they do eventually give up the ghost, because nothing lasts forever, well, they can be easily repaired, rebuilt, and restored to how well they performed when they were new. Now, I might be a little guilty of making it sound like durability and longevity are mutually exclusive. In fact, there are some select shock options out there that will handle obscene amounts of abuse, last incredibly long times, and are serviceable to boot. So let's talk about those. At the absolute top of the Old Man Emu shock range, the BP51s are probably the ultimate overlander shock. They use an internal bypass design, which they're basically taking race level performance and trying to give you something that works well at the trail at trail speeds. They are compression and rebound adjustable on the body in that ride zone, and the base valving is super cush, super plush. So if you're spending a lot of time in the dirt at those reasonable speeds, at trail speeds, as we like to say, they are a strong choice. We have heard reports of people getting as much as 75,000 miles before they need to get rebuilt. And although we can't attest to all of that mileage, they did sit underneath our Tacoma for 2 years and didn't skip a beat, so we can definitely attest to them being fairly long lasting. In the last year, OME's also released their MT64 line, which we think is also really kind of the sweet spot in terms of price in their model range. They're a big 64 millimeter piston monotube design, and they offer position sensitivity on rebound as well as an anodized aluminum body, so they will never really corrode. They are a little bit more expensive than their counterparts in the Bilstein 6112s, but they last a long time. You get that position sensitivity, you get that aluminum body, and you get a little bigger piston, so we think they're worth those extra bucks. They obviously haven't been out long enough for us to truly attest to their longevity like we can to other shock options, but they are definitely a more simple and more robust design compared to the BP51, so they theoretically should last just as long or probably a little bit longer. And of course, OME will service both of those shock options in-house, which of course is a nice plus. The Dobinson MRRs are another super high-end, trail-oriented suspension system, similar to the OMEs, that last a fairly long time and are also easily serviced. These shocks have dual-speed compression adjusters and a rebound adjuster, making them some of the most adjustable shocks on the planet. Dual speed compression adjusters have become fairly common, but rebound adjusters are super rare, and I can say from personal experience, they are a super big help on and off road, and so I really like them. Although they do use smaller 50 millimeter pistons on some of their most popular applications, if you have something that is lucky enough to get those big 60 millimeter pistons, they are a killer option for you guys hitting hard trails, sending it for serious miles off road, and, well, want to do so in comfort without having to worry about something that needs to be serviced all the time. Although we have not personally run a set in long enough to run them into the ground, we have tons of people claiming they can get well over 60,000 miles on their MRR shock packages with tons of hard trails under their belt. They use Japanese NOK seals, which last a pretty long time, so we're inclined to believe those claims. But Dobinson's does a great job of rebuilding their shocks, and we can rebuild them just as easily as we can a Fox King or Icon or anything else, and for similar money. So you get to have your cake, you get to eat it too. Bilstein 8112s and 8100s will let you have the whole shebang in one sitting. They really are the only shocks we have found that combine unbelievable amounts of performance, unkillable amounts of durability, and really unreasonable amounts of longevity. Not only are there DSA Plus coilovers and bypass 8100 shocks probably our number one choice when it comes to everything related to performance, I really don't think there is a single set of shocks that can come close to lasting as long. We have sets around the globe and even some sets of our own that have been getting absolutely walloped on for years and years and years. And outside of some bushing and bearing changes, performance-wise, well, they are no worse for wear. In fact, Bilstein doesn't even really know what the service interval is. They basically say, if you burn them out, give them a call, and that hasn't really happened yet. Simply put, chances are they'll be able to take more abuse than the rest of your rig and, well, will last for years and years and years and years to come if you're just daily driving them. Additionally, they're just as easily serviced and rebuilt as many of those other rebuildable options, so many years in the very distant future, when you do need to have them rebuilt, well, we can take care of those just as easily as we could a Fox King or Icon shock. So what's the downside? Well, at $4,100 to $5,700, they're pretty expensive, but they outperform a lot of options that are far north of their price point, and honestly, we think they're worth every penny. That said, you don't just got to take my word for it. We have full reviews for the Bilstein 8112s on Broncos, Tacomas, and Tundras, as well as every other shock we mentioned in this video live over on our channel. So make sure to check those out, and you might find out one of them are just right for you. But if there's a shock or suspension package you want to see us review, or there's a topic you want to see us break down for you, make sure to leave us a comment below. And in the meantime, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and the bell icon so you're notified of whatever we get into next. And if you're interested in any of the shocks we talked about in this video, getting your shock service upgraded, or anything else, make sure to hop on shocksurplus.com, give the team a shout, and we'll get you dialed in. And until next time, we'll see you on the trails.